How can you move your people from good to great? What's the number one mistake dealers are making right now? And how can you avoid it? What's the best way for you to start your day? In this episode of Conversations, Sean Delaney will answer those questions and more. Plus, we're going to be doing something in this series that we have never done before. It's cool, it's generous, and if you use it, it will have a dramatic impact on your success. And I'll tell you about that in my wrap-up. But for now, back to my conversations with Sean Delaney. How do you take good performance and make it outstanding? So how do you take somebody who's a high performer and nudge them even higher?
Yeah, I remember when I was young, I used to go, I had a manager in the nightclub business, which is crazy, that used to take us to Zig Ziglar seminars when Zig Ziglar was alive. Yeah. And I remember Zig Ziglar used to say, you can take the top 20% and make them better, and then the top 40% make them a little bit better. And those bottom 20, you ain't never changing them, So I remember that clearly. And,
that is so funny. I was a huge, and still am today, a huge Zig Ziglar fan. He was very important to my life.
Yeah, we in that leadership training, we actually watched, it's called Zig Ziglar on Goals.
Yes.
And it's on YouTube. And he's so funny just to begin with. And people are like, at first, like, who's this country guy telling me? And at the end of it, they're just riveted by it. Such a great speaker. But
well, I learned you and I have talked a little bit about where in our lives we may have veered off track. And when I was young, I had veered off track, and I don't know why, but a person working in the dealership gave me a stack of Zig Ziglar cassettes. How long ago it was. And I can remember listening to these cassettes and running and being so moved by them. I can remember making a promise with my creator saying, if you help me out of this jam, I'm going to grow up and I'll be just like Zig Ziglar.
So, sometimes the best performers are the easiest to make better. You could tweak and, all right, what if you tried this? What if you tried that?
Yeah.
It's those middle people, that you really got to get. It's those people you got to find that are, maybe in the 60 to 70% of what they could achieve. Yeah. And really kind of developing them, So, finding things, I always say pushing people out of their comfort zone, There's that comfortable zone, and there's that uncomfortableness in the middle, and then at the top is where you want to get, and they're going to have to go through that zone to get there, and you got to work with them through it. And and that's truly the hardest thing is to say, okay, you're here now, but how do we want to get here? And you're going to go through an uncomfortableness zone, as I did, as you did, as everyone has to do. I remember I wasn't very good at well, I can tell you I wasn't very good at a lot of stuff when I started. And I remember I went to a 20 club, and I had Bill Nash from Nash Power Sports.
Of course.
Lit me up. Lit me up. And I was sitting there going, I'm not even the general man.
I'm not even supposed to be in this meeting.
I made every excuse. And he goes, I don't care. It's blah, 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 blah. And I remember going, oh, that son of a, and probably a little bit worse than that.
Right.
And you know what, though? I went back and I said, it's kind of right. And I gotta get better. I gotta. So I went and I did some things. I had to learn. I had to humble myself to learn things that I didn't know. And I was so egomaniacal. I thought I knew everything. I'm here at this 20 club, and I'm a big shot. And boy, I wasn't such a big shot. And Bill let me know it. And but it made me go back. And get better. And I remember, I just want to tell something, like the Baracas were in that meeting, and they were young guys, man. They were young at the time. And I was sitting there going, oh man, he's lighting me up in front of these young guys. And, I was mad, I was mad. I was embarrassed.
And embarrassed, right.
Yeah. Right. And at the end of it, though, it made me better, made me a lot better. I'm still great friends with Bill. And people like that, that encourage you, they're the ones that push you through the uncomfortableness zone. And look, I could have folded and gone the other way. And that's what I tell my people all the time. Don't give up until you get there. At least get there and then say, this is what I wanted. But, you can easily take a top performer and make them a little bit better, make her a little bit better.
Yeah.
But boy, it's that 60 to maybe 80 percentile that you push them. Now, the other thing is you push them through the uncomfortable zone and they get there. Boy, those are the people that truly appreciate their job. They appreciate you. They appreciate what you did for them.
Yeah.
And then ultimately they become your top performers. And you talked about tenure. That's how you get tenure in people. They won't leave you, and, if you ask my managers, they'll tell you, man, I make them go through uncomfortable zones. They don't want to look at old inventory. It's much easier to walk around old inventory than deal with old inventory, and so, these are all things that I learned from guys like Bill Nash or Mark Tack or, actually Mike Veracco or, whoever, Scott Fisher, Aaron Barney, everybody that I know, there's always something that people can push you through and, or you can push other people through and help them get through it. But when you do on the other side, I think that's truly, how you develop people. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a great one. And I think the thing that's interesting here is what you really have to do is tuck your ego aside. You have to say, well, listen, I'm going to fail. I'm going to look silly. I'm not going to get it right, because only through failure will there be growth. So
let me just hit on that a second because of my son.
Sure.
It's so funny that you say that because, if he goes out and he pitches and he has a great outing, it's great, but boy, I'll tell you, he learns the most from when that kid hits a grand slam off.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important to reflect on those two things,
Yeah.
It's important to reflect on both your successes and your failures and say, what was I thinking? What was going on in my mind at the time? Why did I choose that pitch? Why did I shake the catcher off? Where did I put that fastball? All of that stuff.
Were you in the moment? Were you thinking, and truly, even with staff, it's so hard to do. You got to let them fail every once in a while. You got to let them make a mistake. And boy, I'll tell you, that's not easy. That's not an easy thing. And I learned that from Scott. I couldn't figure out why we couldn't sell tires for a long time. And I finally called him and he told me what to do. And it was exactly what to do. And I said, boss, I couldn't sell tires for 8 or 9 months. Why didn't you tell me? He goes, because you didn't ask. And that lesson, man.
Yeah.
It still gets me,
I bet. Okay. So first of all, tactically, why couldn't you sell tires?
Well, we all sorts of reasons, but it really came down to we didn't change them in the same day, so if someone, we're 2 weeks backed up in service. So if you need a tire, you got to do it that day. The guy wants to go out and ride, or the girl wants to go out and ride their bike. They don't want to wait 2 weeks. So we had to make a fast lane and get people in and do some things. And boy, once you change them, if they call you, it's not about price ever. It's about convenience. So if they call you and they say, can you get me in today? Absolutely. Come on down. We'll get you right in. Yeah. And you could be riding your bike by 12 o'clock, man. That's the key. Okay, there's price things and, all sorts of stuff. But the real key that I found is, can you change it the same day? And if you can change it the same day and they can get, it's like us. How many days off do you get? So if you want to go ride and you come out in your garage, you got a flat tire or a low tire, that stinks, so if you can call the dealership, come on down, we'll get you in. It's 9 o'clock. Boom. By 11 o'clock, I got my bike with a brand new tire on it and I'm up in the mountains riding. That's the deal. That's what customers.
I want to come back to more personal development stuff. But right now, you were making a mistake with tires. In your opinion, what's the biggest mistake that you see dealers making right now in the marketplace?
Oh, I've talked a lot about this. It's very good in the marketplace right now. I think it's very good for Harley dealers right now. And I think the number one thing is complacency. And I think getting a little too full of ourselves again, and thinking, we're all that. Well, guess what? We do have great product. Yeah, we do have great things happening right now, but it ain't gonna last forever. And so the things you're doing today are going to be what comes to reap in maybe a year from now, 18 months from now, so don't get so full of yourself and think you're the greatest. I hear dealers, I'm not spending anything on advertising. Well, okay. I mean, I understand maybe cutting back, but don't you still want to be out there in the market a little bit with your name out there? Because when people do decide to buy, don't you want them thinking about you? And again, I'm not saying to spend this much or this little. I'm just saying, don't think that, don't think that this is going to go on forever. What's happening right now.
And training.
I was going to say, and are
spending money on training? People are, oh, we don't need that. We're selling everything we got.
I hear that all the time. And then, I'm bring up digital leads, I hear guys say, I can't even got enough bikes. I don't care about, well, wait a minute. You're going to have enough bikes eventually, or maybe you could get some bikes or whatever. So you're going to not wait on customers that want to do business with you, or you're not going to do it effectively, or you're going to, I don't know. And that's all I'm saying is complacency. I see Harley Davidson, they're making, creative ideas and new things happen. I think the CEO is totally awesome, and he's got great ideas, and he seems to be pushing in the right direction on things. And, I think it's exciting, but how about dealers getting excited and also continuing? I don't want to be critical. I'm just saying that let's not rest on our laurels. Let's get with the program and, be great, be really great. Like we can be, but I guess that's the biggest thing, Mark, is just not being complacent or thinking this is going to last forever.
Yeah, I think it's crucial to, to use the current momentum that we have. That's what we should be doing. When you look at managing your stores, do you have a couple of fistfuls of favorite key measures that you always go to?
Yeah. I'm part of a really high performing 20 club performance group with Sam Dancer's company. And I love that group I'm in. I couldn't do it without them. When we hit COVID, if I didn't have that, we had a weekly meeting where we were talking it through, and New Mexico was completely shut down. I mean, probably the hardest restrictions in the country. Just opened really last week. It got to 100%. So very difficult. We were not allowed to sell bikes in person. We had to do 100% online. Couldn't have appointments in the store. Nothing. We were completely shut down. Only the service drive was open. And we figured out ways. I think we were the ones that sold the most bikes during the pandemic, 100% online. We took bikes to customers' houses. I drove one night all the way out to a place called Toot and Carry. And let me tell you something. Toot and Carry at 1 a.m, delivering a motorcycle is not.
It sounds like a pricey proposition.
Yeah, you got to be in the right spot. Let's just put it that way. It could go horribly wrong. Yeah. So the guy my finance guy that was with me, we had so many laughs. We were just joking. It's about 3 hours away from Albuquerque, in the middle of nowhere between here and Amarillo. But the people that got the bike were so excited, and people were driving past the house, and you got a new bike. This is like 1 a.m. This is going on. And we're out there with our little desk, and, and those are the stories that are just so fantastic. Remember,
wait a minute, you took a portable desk?
We had a portable in our truck. We had a portable desk, a Wi-Fi port, like it's cellular Wi-Fi. Now, how we got cellular out there, I have no idea. I'm telling you, it was like third house from Rock down to the left. I mean, that's pretty much where we were at. And that's how it is out here a little bit. And so we had a portable desk. We got the desk out. It was just hysterical. We're doing it by camera lights on our phone. It was totally crazy. But the customers, they had a blast with it. They couldn't believe it was happening. Like, I'm getting my dream bike during the pandemic. You guys are out here, and we just really had a blast with it. And I don't know where that story was coming from.
I don't know either, but I dig it. Oh, we were talking about a couple of favorite key measures that you to really.
How the heck did I get to that story?
I don't know, but it was great. So, I like anything that has toot and carry.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just telling you, it was funny. So key measures, 20 club. So a 20 club and key measures. So, every day when I come into work, I have a very structured thing to my day. We talked about it. I meditate in the morning. I come to work, and the first thing I do is I open up my tracker from the day before. So my people put everything into a tracker. I look at all of our numbers in sales, parts, motor close, service. I look at our, transactional data. I look at our GPs. I look at where we're at versus our 20 club. Then we have our own tracking as well, where we are versus the month. And so I'm very structured in the morning I like to come in. It's the first thing I open up and I look at even before my email, because email can get you distracted. So I look at our numbers. I kind of make some notes for myself about maybe I want to talk a little bit about our finance PUS. I want to see maybe I can get that a little bit higher. Why is our maintenance down a little bit this month? Are we suggesting it through the service drive? Are we talking about it on the dealer tour? So there's little things that I can make notes of. So when I go out and I do talk to the managers, or I run into the finance guy and they say something about, hey, don't forget to buy those guys out in the service drive some donuts and remind them to be talking maintenance, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And but I start my day by looking at my 20 club tracker and then my internal trackers, and that really sets me up for what I want to kind of do that day. And then I kind of go through my emails and I get adjusted for what I want to do. But I think it's setting up my day in the morning helps my key measures then come in. And at the end of the day, all my managers have to text me their daily hit, what their goal was, how close they got to, what their actual numbers were. And at the end of the day, that they start to come in around 6:15, 6:30 after we close. And, I'll make a little comment. Hey, great motor close day. Maybe we need to work a little harder in service over there or whatever. And, try to keep it positive. Yeah. But, we look at every day, they have to say how many bikes we are versus goal, how many we are towards our retail target goal with Harley, how many transactions we had, what our transaction ratio is. And, that just keeps everybody moving in the same direction, every manager. And it's not just sales, it's every manager, motor close, parts, service, they all have to report in the evening, but they also have to put it in the tracker, because when I get in the morning, they know I'm looking at it. So I know that they knew it. Now they're looking at it. I'm looking at it. And then I can adjust or maybe give some suggestions. One thing I always look at is, what's my average ticket across the parts or motor close counter? And, do we have hats? The easiest upsell item is a hat. Are there hats available? We have some really cool hats. Are they all available? And are we suggesting that with every offer? Hey, have you seen our new hat? Yeah. Have you seen this? Have you seen that? And then same thing with parts. I put the hats up there. I make sure that we have a little, maybe a gas additive or whatever. Is everybody being asked for an additional item on the counters? And when I see that number drop a little bit, I know it's probably, I can tell that there's not as many hats on the counter as I'd like to see. So I go out and I make sure that we have hats, and I kind of joke about it. Hey, let's get those hats out there, Right. And then all of a sudden that number starts to creep up again. So, just watching little things like that gets you operationally better. Again, I mentioned maintenance because that's a real catalyst to, are the dealer tours happening? Yeah. Are the customers being told how important it is to maintain their motorcycle and to do it here at the store? Because we know if they come back for us for maintenance, they're probably going to buy their next bike from us. And if they come to the service drive, we have a chance to sell them another bike. So there's a lot of that goes on. So, there's some key metrics you got to watch in the store. Of course, bike sales, margins, transactions are absolutely crucial. I'm seeing those ratios kind of moving a little bit in the 20 club too, because of the lack of inventory right now. But, in general, we're watching that all the time and trying to make adjustments to it, daily, weekly, daily, and monthly.
Yeah, I love your two-step accountability. It's the end of day and then the enter in the tracker. And I like how you start every day with your focus on the numbers. Again, it's astonishing how many people don't know their numbers.
I got one thing to show you. So this is I can't really see it too good, but this is it's laminate. Yeah. And it's the sales manager's weekly reporting. So when they come to our weekly managers meeting, it's laminated. So they can actually use a dry erase, or sometimes they make a photocopy. They have to hand it out to all the managers. Yeah. And it just says where they are for the month, and they could put things on here like what they're having issues with, so the other team members can help them. But they have to fill it out and they have to come to the meeting with it. And then they have to have a handout for everybody. So they come in and, our managers meetings, again, are really manager led. They used to be me talking for an hour. And boy, I'll tell you, I can talk, and as you can see, but I changed that, and now they come, and I'll give my 10-minute. We'd start with our kudos at the beginning, what's happening great in the store, and that kind of stuff. But then each person has to actually talk about their department and what they're working on and where the challenges are right now, and hopefully the team gives them great feedback and where they can help. Or my sales manager a lot of times will say, I can help you with that. I think I could come over and train on that because it's a sales issue. And or my motor clothes manager comes over and she's been with us a real long time, Marcia, and she'll come over and she'll say, I think I can help. When a customer is sitting down, I think I can help kind of move them along. If they come over to the motor clothes department, I think I can show them a few things. So everyone tries to help each other in the meeting, but they have to bring their numbers to the meeting. So they have to know their numbers, and they know their numbers, dialogue comes out of it.
Yeah.
And that really works.
And what's great about this again is that it's employee led. It's one thing if you show up at the meeting and start giving them their numbers, a completely different thing if they are creating and tracking and bringing the numbers to the table. I have to joke, as we do a lot of F&I stuff, and I will ask many business managers, what's your finance acceptance rate? What's your ESP acceptance rate? And in the old days, everyone would know those numbers. And now maybe a third of the group knows the numbers, because in the old days, people were doing pen and paper logs. Remember those logs were like the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yeah. Well, that's why I have that sheet. It's actually written. We have it all. I mean, God, we have so much data that you could never have to write anything down.
Yeah.
But I believe there's something about having to sit down with a piece of paper, finding the data. You have to find it, off the, and you sit and actually write it down. Yeah. And then, you kind of look at it and go, maybe, and then, so to your point, we have all the data, and our finance folks, for example, can tell you all the data, but if they don't write it down, then how do they know? I don't know. I kind of just feel like, like you said, if you have all this, if you're providing all the tracking, that's great. But what are you doing with all the tracking?
Yeah.
What are you doing? So if they have to write it down and just take 10 or 15 minutes before a manager's meeting once a week, to kind of get them. Now, I could tell you my managers have most of this knowledge, but there may be that one thing that they maybe missed. And, I developed those sheets over a long time. They actually started with Ed Lemko's Dirty Dozen, from the old Lemko man.
Yeah.
And that's all that sheet is the old Dirty Dozen, just put into, some data points,
There's a ton to unpack in this episode. So if you want to watch it again, I encourage it. Now, Sean has been very generous to share with you his one-page key metrics sheet. We've never done this before. So if you want it, email me at mark@rodgerspc.com and put I want Sean's sheet in the subject line, and I'll hit you back. There's more to come with Sean Delaney. Until next time, go sell something, will ya?